Hello students, good morning. We are continuing with the same chapter supply, and this is the sixth lecture of it, and we are learning about changes in supply. We have already seen about expansion and contraction of supply. Today we are going to learn about here, that is increase and decrease in supply, which is the second topic in changes in supply, and this is what we are going to learn. Now we have already studied about expansion and contraction of supply, which is based on the price. If you know the price, where there is a fluctuation in price, you find there is an expansion and contraction of supply which takes place. We have already seen. Now today we are going to learn other factors other than price which have been there, how it has been affecting and how there is an increase and decrease in supply curve. So let's start quickly with this one. Now here you find here increase and decrease in supply. Now the main factor we already know, that is it is the other than price or what. There are four things which are been there. We can say here, that is level of technology. Second is factor of production, or we can say cost of production. If there is a change in cost of production, if there is a price increase or decrease, what affects it. Third is that we can say that is expectation regarding future prices, and lastly we find here that is nothing but we can say other factors that includes government policies. So what are the policies which are being made which are against the supply or for the supply which has been helping. So that all things makes changes in the, we can say, supply of any particular good. So due to change in that for all factors, there is a change in supply. So let us study. So when one factor or the some factors other than price, that is here it has been told, when one factor or some factor other than price changes, that is all that 4-1 we said. So in favor to the supply of a good, there is a rightward or upward shift in the supply curve. It means that is level of technology, either cost of factor of production, or we can say that is expectation regarding future prices, or government policies are in favor of, we can say, supply. That time we can say here that is it shift towards the rightward direction, it goes towards rightward. So here price is constant. Remember that price remains constant, because here it is not affected by price. So other factors are dealing with the supply, or it is affecting the supply. So price remains constant. And then after you find that if the cost of production falls, means what are the favors of supply. We can say if all the other factors are in favor of supply, means उसके अंदर क्या क्या आएगा, कौन से हेल्प करेंगे. जैसे cost of production है वो कम हो जाए, so it falls. Suppose the cost of production falls, what will happen? The supplier is making the same product in a cheaper rate, and what will happen when it's producing in a cheaper rate? When he's producing in a cheaper rate, what will happen? It will make him to sell more, because the profit margin increases for him. The price is same, but now the product which has been produced, which earlier now was the costlier and now it is cheaper, so what is happening? He will be producing more and more, and he will be selling more and more. Then after you find that price of factor of production also falls, that is land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. There, suppose their prices are falling up, not the making cost, but we can say what are the including factors are there, that is land rates are decreased, or we can say labor wages are decreased. So if that particular factors are getting decreased, so what will happen? Ultimately the cost of production will get decreased, and ultimately we can say the supplier or the seller will sell more, because they will earn more profit. The price is same. Suppose there is a change in technology. Now due to there is no change in all this factor of production, but now the technology has been changed. We have inputted advanced technology, and because of that the time is been saved. So more production is being done because of that, and because of we find that when more production is done, the supply will be more. When more supply is done, we can find more profit is been there. Then you find that we can say number of supply increases, supplier. So because of technology, you find that number of supplier increases, because nowadays you find that advanced technology era is going, and multiple types of or different types of machines which are coming, which help us, which reduces our effort as well as time. It saves our time. So because of that we can produce more and more. So due to that supplier increases, and when supplier increases, you find that more product is being sold in the market, and you find that they attain more profit. Again, suppose any government policies came up and it is in favor of the product, it made an advantage to the product in the selling of the product. So this will become again, and we can say advantage for the supplier, or we can say sellers in the market, so that they will sell more of that particular product. So all this particular thing is happening where price is constant. Remember that here, even if the price of the goods remain constant, its supply increases, and the entire supply curve shift towards where? Towards the right hand side. So this is what is happening up in increase in supply. So we can say the supply is increasing, price is constant, but due to other factors, the other factors are influencing more sale, more supply, we can say more supply of the products. So this is what we can say, it is giving positive regards to the supply, and that's why you find that price is not increasing but factors are influencing more supply. Then the opposite of it, vice versa, we can say, suppose the cost of production rises. Before it was falling up here, but here if it suppose rises, what will happen? Now the sellers thinks that if this particular factor of prices, factor of productions are getting rises, what is happening? He think that my profit is becoming less, my profit is becoming less, so ultimately he will reduce or contract the supply. When he contracts the supply, what will happen? The production is less, and when there is less production, less products are being supplied in the market. So due to that also we can see here, this gives a negative impact on the supply of any product. Same way technology becomes expensive. If that particular technology is advanced, but though it is very expensive, that time he won't purchase. So this becomes again a problem, and he will contract the supply. Then comes number of supply decreases. Yes, due to this, because we can say a lot of hard work and everything, and you find there is only few products which are being supplied, and the demand is also less, so you find that the seller is not want to go with that. He will find some another product and some another technology where he can save time and he can increase the production process. So this is what is happening up here in this particular thing. So we say here that when technology is expensive, the suppliers decreases, as well as you find that suppose any of the fourth factor, that is government policies are against the supply of any product, that time all this particular becomes a very limited factor for the supplier to sell or produce more. That time we find that this changes are against the supply, and when it is in against the supply, you find that at the same price only, you find that the supply is decreasing. Earlier at the same price the entire supply was being increased and it is moving to the right road. Now opposite of it, here the factors against the supply are now, we can say, against the supply, and at the same price now the supply curve shifts towards where? The leftward direction. So to understand very clearly, more specifically, we are going to go with the table as well as we find the diagram. So let's go with that. So here is an explanation of this particular thing with the help of supply schedule, and here is the supply schedule. So as I told you, price remain constant, there is no change in supply due to price. So price of an apples are same, and it is rupees 20, and the supply of apples by the sellers are in kgs, which has been shown in the second column. You find that rupees 20 or rupees 20 is everywhere, but the supply has going to increase. Here you find it here 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500, it is goes on increasing. But why and what is the factor? So here again, as in the earlier expansion and contraction, we are going to take the middle value as the initial value, that at rupees 20, 300 is our supply. How much? 300. Now what is happening up due to that? You find it, suppose the price decreases, suppose the price due to other factors which are in favor, due to other factors which are in favor of, we can say, supply, what is happening up? Suppose that is favoring supply, so we find it here, it becomes from 300 to 500. What are the, we can say, in favor, like cost of production reduced, level of technology is become easy and advanced, there is an increase of suppliers, you find. So due to that, you find it here in this curve, on the x-axis there is a supply has been taken, on the y-axis price has been taken up, and here the measurement of 2 cm equals to 100 kgs, and here on the y-axis 1 cm measurement, that is of 10 rupees. So here is the scale, here 20 rupees is a constant which line is been shown to you and it has been there, and here 100 gap is here. As rupees 20, here 100 is been plotted, 200, 300, 400 and 500. Now as I told you, initially it was 300, so here initially at 300 is a point A. Now at the point A, here is been there. Now all the factors affecting the supply other than price are in favor of, we can say, supply. That time when the supply increases and the price remain constant, so seller want to sell more and he supplies from 300 to 500 of goods so that he can attain more profit. Now that time you find that when there is an increase in supply, you find that the supply curve, it's same like this, is being increased, it's moved towards your right hand side. So this is what you find, that there is a shift here, it is called as shift in, we can say, supply curve, shift towards right hand side. So this is why you find that from 300 it becoming 400 or 500, so on. So this is, there is a shift in supply. Same way when it's decreasing to 200, suppose when it's decreasing 200, so when it is been decreased, when all these factors are against the supply, when government policies are not supporting the product or the supply of product, suppose transportation cost increase, there are heavy taxes, or ultimately any other things which has been there, then after you find that cost of production has increased, the supplier are decreased, the demand for the product has decreased. So that time you find that the supplier will sell less amount of it, and you find that supply is less. It reduced from initial base, that is 300 to 200. You find it has been shifting to your left side. So to your left side it gets decreased, and from point A it is going point B. So this is what we can say, there is a shift towards left hand side and there is a decrease in supply schedule. Are you getting it? Don't get confused in expansion and contraction, and here expansion contraction of supply and increase and decrease in supply. You find here there is, the price is constant, whereas in expansion and contraction there is a variation due to price. So this is what you find, that there is an increase and decrease in, you find that supply curve which is been going in, where price is constant, and the same line only the supply curve is shifting towards the right or either left. It depends on the factors against the factors are against the supply, or factors are in favor of supply. So when it is in favor of supply it increases, so it moves towards the rightward. When it is in against the supply it goes towards the left hand side. Are you getting it? Yes. So let's move to the analysis. What analysis we can make? So very first one, we should write the scale and the what is represent, that is x-axis and y-axis. Then this point comes, that is initially the supply curve S1 where the price is 20 and the supply of apple is 300 kgs, which depicted by the point A, which is shown as a point A on the supply curve S1 and S1. So you find that on the first one A1 which I showed with that particular S1 is a supply curve, and there was a point A where rupees 20, you find that the kilograms were sold, or apples are sold at 300 kilograms. Then you find that this price remained constant, but one or more other factors changes in favor of supply. मतलब price के अलावा दूसरे factors change हो रहे, and it is in the favor of supply. That time you find that supply curve shifts towards the right, that is S3. The supply of apple is becoming now 400. So from 300 it is becoming 400, but the price remain constant. Again it has been shown on the point C, that is S3 is a shift which we find which from S1 to S1. So S1 it becomes S3 from point A to point C. So that time we can say there is an increase in supply. Then it comes about, we can say, now again come to the initial point. Now if one of the some factor of other factors changes against the supply, मतलब जो चार फैक्टर में से कोई भी एक फैक्टर, ये नहीं कंपलसरी नहीं है कि चारों चार फैक्टर चेंज होने चाहिए. आई एम एक्सप्लेन यू ऑल द फोर फैक्टर्स, बट इफ एनी वन इज अफेक्टिंग द सप्लाई कर्व, that also makes a change. So we have to remember all four things, and all four things, if any one is also affecting, you find that there is an against or favor of supply, and that time you find that supply changes. So यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि अगर it is going against the supply of an apple, then the supply curve shifts from where it shifts to the left one, that is S2 अपन कहाँ से, as I told you from the beginning, S1 से S2 चला जाएगा, and उस टाइम पे supply decrease हो जाएगा. कहाँ से? It was 300, sorry, here it was 300, now it becoming at 200. The price is the same. So that time we find that it is shown at the point B, that is S2 curve. So this is what is happening up, and you find that it shows the decrease in supply curve, and it is called as what? It is decrease in supply. It moves towards your left hand side. So I hope you have been clear. So when it is been, just a second. So when there is an increase, you find that it is going to the right side, and when it is getting decrease, it is going to the left hand side. Don't get confused in expansion and contraction. Expansion and contraction is very different. You find the straight line, and here the expansion is going and the contraction is going like this. But whereas here the same lines are being there of supply, and you find from the middle, if it is going to the right hand side, you find there is an increase. From middle it is going to the left hand side, there is a decrease in supply. Now I hope you have been clear. You have to write all these things, and you have not watched the first one. If you have not watched the expansion contraction, please watch and get it clear by them. It is again, it is the changes but is been done due to price, but here it is other than price. So don't get confused between two. It is most important thing which has been asked frequently in the examination. So you go with that particular topic. Thank you. Dipole